Hello everyone, my name is Arman. Welcome to my gaming channel. You may be surprised to hear me in this let's play. Lately I decided to start a commentary here. I hope you don't find that inconsequential by me. So, in the last episode we've managed to get into the Brackenbury Sanitarium, check a few things out inside. It looks like a animancer of the name Azo might be somehow working with the Leaden Key or something. We're about to check that out and see what happens. So, let's get our party and let's get to it.
Ready, Watcher.
Gods keep you.
Okay,
Of course.
let's go downstairs. Head warden says you can go in, be careful in there. Must have spent a helicopter on the upstairs. Well, looking at the state of things, quite probable. Curved spine twist this woman's posture forward and her greasy hair draped over her large eyes like wine. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. And noting your appearance yet. Friendly visit, I hope. All the weapons and stuff, I'm sure. What do you know about this animancer Azo? I like him very much. Many animancers could care less about their patients. Look at us like vermin for their for their experiments. But Master Azo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. What happened to Azo? Frail's eyes dart back and forth, and her voice lowers to just above a whisper. They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He said to be one of the brightest in Deerwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was ego that drove him to try to solve their legacy, but that's hogwash. Even if he was a bit of a showman, he loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work. Suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine? The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. Gods know that's something we need. Do you know what they called those empty little babies in Andre's gift? No, tell me. They call them boys. Because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. These are mad times. Well, that's very sad, I must admit. It's quite depressing to listen about something like this. Anyway, Master Azo has scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And then the next day he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard. And he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him, but I'm glad they're letting him treat people again. Do you know where I might find Azo? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? He shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. Have any of the patients here been acting unusually? Well, there's Batixa, who relives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idleman, who they say only has had a soul and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands and wails at night sometimes. Different from their normal behavior, I mean. Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Azel let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and will be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward has our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. Interesting. In Scram I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he always was a bit of a wild one. Would I be able to visit the North Ward? They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow a visitor, just Master Azo. You might ask him. He's very sympathetic. I wonder. Why are you in here? Behind her hair, her cheeks blush. I don't want to say. I think you'll think less of me. When you blush, it brings out the color of your eyes. Yeah, that's the way, since my character is a passionate one. Her blush deepens and she ducks her head forward to bury her face deeper beneath her hair. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to think of it as personal. Lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was even mine. I made do. What else can I do? I moved into a tiny place in Andre's gift. Got by mending clothes and on the kindness of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day this noble woman comes in, wants this fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing. This shade of blue I'd never seen before. Only I had. I looked at it and it reminded me of something. I had what they call an awakening. Well, that's something familiar. I remembered being a noble woman once myself in another life. People doting over me. Men doting over me. Me. The best food, the most beautiful home, all the things you'd ever dare to dream of. They were mine. It was poison knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life. It did something to me. Food started to taste rotten. The walls in my little room seemed to close in around me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. That's sad. So I came here. It was that or break into an estate and start ordering servants around. Whoa. It seems like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me, but I can't get past it. And I start to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it? Nobody deserves to go through what you have gone through. Yeah. I hope not. I can't even imagine the monster who deserves that. What half the patients here go through every day. Okay, farewell. Let's see Mr. Azo, what he has to say for himself regarding the experiments and all that happens here. Got some luck. Boxes here. Let's check him out.
I suppose it can't be helped. There you go.
Now, Raven Wing. A unique mace. Nice one. 25 damage when attacking the same target as an ally. Damaging 3. enchantment 15 5 of 14 and 3 damage reduction bypass. Well, something what I would give to a deer in place of that mace. Reliable enough constitution. Well, could use that.
Hey,
Got another box
I
here.
suppose it can't be helped. There you go.
Blade golem. Okay. Let's talk to Mr. Azo. A round-faced, balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upwards slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scowls.
What is the meaning of this?
Ethelmore told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. Yes, well, Ethelmore hasn't done much good for anybody since he had his soul moved into an inanimate object, so I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If animancers all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backward and willfully ignored as Red Ceres. We will know nothing about life or death or even ourselves. We will be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. It seems to me you're still in the dark.
Is that a reason to stop trying? Shall we remain in the dark until the end of time and have the last breath of the last person alive be breathed in ignorance? The gods want us to know. The clues are all around us. In understanding these truths, we honor their creation.
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
Who will solve Widewen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Yeah, sure, an animancer. You perhaps. Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? Well, I have, yes, no point in lying about it now that Ethelmore's involved. I asked for volunteers from our patients and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. I heard you were demoted. How did it happen? It's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Oddmer. That's Makuizel. Things went wrong. Everything. I don't know how. I'll never know. He spit on the floor as if to remove a bitter taste from his mouth. I'd like access to the North Ward. Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. So you can coerce them into your experiments. Frail told me everything.
She's a patient! That blazing woman knows nothing of the nature of my experiments.
Blazing woman. Yeah, he sure cares. He pulls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger, girls shimmering beneath his breath and a deep scowl compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you. Very well. Let's go talk to them. Let's see. What's that all about there? Let's talk with the patients here. Is this my face? Tell me. Not too talkative. Thundering sky, rain of blood, innocents must drown. Whoa. And Graham, the most interesting of them all for now. This man has the look in his eyes of a hunted animal, and at your approach he staggers backward to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as thought he would climb the walls if it would get him further away from you. He cries out, a bizarre primal utterance like nothing you have heard. I need to ask you some questions. Graham looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed as thought his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern if indeed they are words at all. The mutilations of animancy, crueler than any torture to disfigure the soul. Let us return the favor to the animancers of this shit heap. As ran experiments on you against your will, didn't he? He looks at you with uncertainty, slowly, tentatively. He steps closer to the front of his cell, and as he does so, for the first time you can perceive his soul in your can. It's misshapen, as thought, made by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. Let's see there. You project out toward the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You are in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come up to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else? In your mind it is a single word, and the word is no. But it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In darkness you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns on a knob and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats, and you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Continue searching. Another night. Heavy footsteps outside your door, coming for you. You look through a slit in your door. The flesh giant, the artificial being, just outside, but facing left, facing the end of the hall. The boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snake skin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away and leaves. Okay. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. There is another patient in here, it looks like. Let's check further out. In here. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of his cell, gawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead, the occasional blink his only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you should wish it. Let's check it out. You close your eyes and edge forward toward the boy's soul, and as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering, and straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless if you have crossed paths, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell, in the same sanitarium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same stops every time. The misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly, you think to yourself, quickly, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart towards the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and constrained in this new vessel, you are strong again. You step heavy-footed down corridors, unhealed by the other constructs, and scrutinized only by the very untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tiered seats of an amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. Balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you have tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl, but this body is not really yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous, unlike the others. This one has no soul of its own. The man speaks and the crowd applauds with an enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says, and pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of a man's brow, while the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to awe as a crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve, and the glow crawls through a tube along a length of copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading this work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and setting and playing puppeteer for Hollowborn. But you make it to look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back up at the crowd. "Behold!" he says, but there is obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly you take a plodding step forward, then another and another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he asks at a volume meant for the crowd. And this is the moment. At the top of your lungs you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes towards you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down into the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panic screams from the crowd, and by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you deport the corpse in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? Well, that's the answer about Azo. What happened? This guy has sabotaged his work. You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders, and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive, with a tall device encasing an Adra monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to reality at the once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistaking now that this is the soul of the man who caused your awakening, that gazes out from that borrowed husk. Watcher, I believe we share a common past. I am just looking for some answers. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and seems, for that moment, that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look, your hunger. Hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backwards with certain grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only the dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly he slumps forward. Oops. Well, this looks like trouble. Oh. Well, it looks like we have a riot on our hands. Let's try to get out of here. Okay. The rest of the team goes backwards. While the melee characters move in. Now what do we have here? A rogue, a cipher. To get rid of that cipher before he starts making me miserable. Let's bless my character. Okay, looks like they focused Itumak here. Could use some healing for him. Too late. Okay, I need to spread my damage a little bit. That's not good. Looks like Graham is down. no rest. Can't quite reach there. Okay, let's use the Holy Radiance to heal up a little bit. Maybe it's too fast, but it also will damage the flesh constructs and frighten
Got an arrow for this one.
Okay, let's pull back here. And let's switch position a little bit. Too late. More healing here is needed. Could also didn't use that. Now that's frustrating. Let's drop another healing spell here. He'll die in a moment out of this infestation.
What?
At the last moment. Managed. Let's finish this one since he's almost dead. Okay, so I can finally start flanking here.
Settle.
This will make it a little bit easier to get rid of me. Let's summon a...
Croak 10.
Hey,
Well, that was unfortunate that we just got stomped to the ground. Very unfortunate.
all right then.
And I believe that also unnecessary.
What? Hey,
Okay. Let's check the area a little bit around.
hey,
Okay, got a golem in there. Okay. Let's move in a little bit inside. Let's attack him right now. With everything I've got. There's not too much space by the door, so I'll switch to ranged weapons at Cayla. Comes another golem. Let's move in there first, inside.
what? All right
Get
then.
past him.
Let's go.
Okay, now I can jump on the other side. Let's do that.
Settle. Get to our enemies.
Okay,
Hey,
Let's try to get to Azo.
All right then.
What have you done? You've been experimenting on patients against their wills, mangling their souls. I have witnessed it with my own eyes. Azo's face drains of what little color it had. How could you possibly? Look, it had to be done. Ethelmore and the others, they took everything from me. Everything when I was this close. I had to know where I failed and why. Imagine the value if I'd succeed. I had something that could make all those hollow infants into something like a real person. And a few more patrons and a few years research, who knows. No one has come that close with the legacy. It's why I have to continue. Why I have to risk everything we're here working in secret. It's why you have to lie into Ethelmore for me. Tell him you clear me of suspicion. I'm going to expose you for what you are.
Then I can't let you get in my way either.
Pride got better of him. So looks like I have to put him down.
Just...
Yeah, I've got this ring of suppress affliction. Down with you. Grimes records.
Hey.
Okay. Got the licht here. Okay.
What does the flame
Let's see how many of there are more there. 1, 2 wichts, 3 wichts, and a flesh construct in there. Okay. Let's get them. Let's move them a little bit closer.
Of course.
Itumag is a bit too far in front. I want Edir to move in first. Get your attention. Okay, and now. Okay, and another flash construct here. Blind from the back. And that will make short work of it.
Hey.
Miss Lick. Got more whisk in here. Wait for a moment. And now it's a good moment to get in there. These are quite weak. I just use Holy Radiance to instant kill them.
Alright then.
The way this all looks, it looks like all hell went loose in here.
Slow and silent.
Okay, nothing in here. So let's just get out of here, this hellhole. Well, that's sure that it's not safe here. Okay. Okay, let's report to the head warden and I'll end the episode here. As I was being influenced by a patient, but the patient really wasn't himself at the time. You finish your explanation and Ethelmore breaks the silence. I had read accounts of people in history who could do that what you describe. The accounts are few and brief and never reliable. Some go as far as to suggest that they were all the same person. If truly such a person was here among us, plotting our ruin, would that I had a body again and could be of some real use in our time of need. I fear that the future may hold for. I fear what the future may hold for this place. I'm grateful you were able to dissipate the threat before there was loss of innocent life. We very nearly had another scandal on our hands. What about Azo? What part did his experiments play in this catastrophe? I confronted Azo. I was forced to kill him. He groans in disgust. Such a waste. There was none more gifted working here. In time I had hoped to rehabilitate his image, but a mind like his, so full of ideas, leaves little room for patience. I would inquire more into the matter, but in truth you have done this institution a favor. Were his transgressions ever to reach the public, there would be a terrible uproar. I was blind to have trusted him a second time. His tone takes an ominous quality that reverberates all around you. I trust you will be more cautious in future inquiries. Yeah, sure.
Gods keep you.
Okay. So, as I said, I'll end the episode here.
Hey.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, comment and like. Let me know if you like my videos with the commentary. And I'll see you guys the next time. See you around.